Your monthly subscription box from Postflybox.com includes all the materials needed to tie a dozen flies, along with some extra goodies. Clouser minnows will catch just about any fish that swims. This one's no different, but is especially well suited for warm water species such as large and smallmouth bass. The pattern is tied on a short shank, heavy wire hook. After getting the hook firmly secured in the jaws of your tying vise, load a bobbin with a spool of fire orange uni thread. Get the thread started on the hook shank behind the eye and take a dozen or so reps rearward before snipping off the tag. End with your tying thread a little better than a full eye length behind the back edge of the hook eye. Pick up one of the sets of dumbbell eyes and lay it diagonally on top of the hook shank above your tying thread. Start taking cross wraps with your thread to begin anchoring the eyes to the shank. Follow the cross wraps with a complete thread wrap around the hook, then yoke wraps over the eyes on both sides of the hook. With these complete, go around the hook shank once again, then do several flat wraps below the eyes but above the shank to pull everything in tight. Make sure to then complete a full wrap or two around the hook shank before leaving your tying thread at about the hook point. To add a little flash, snip 4 strands of gold flashabou free from the hank. Find the midpoint of the strands and lay it against the near side of the hook and take thread wraps to secure it there. Pull the forward portion of the flash back and over to the far side of the hook, then secure it with wraps of tying thread. Keep taking thread wraps rearward to further separate the flashabou on either side of the hook. Return your tying thread to behind the dumbbell eyes. Pearl flashabou is used to add a somewhat different kind of sparkle to the fly. Once again, snip 4 strands free from the hank and find their midpoint. You can then tie them in the same manner as you did the gold flashabou, so equal amounts end up on either side of the hook. With both types of flash secured, take thread wraps to build up a smooth orange underbody on the fly, ending with your thread at about the hook point. Snip another 4 strands of pearl flashabou free from the hank, and this time affix one end of them to the near side of the hook with wraps of tying thread. Continue binding the flash rearward to the base of the tail, and return your thread to behind the dumbbell eyes. Wrap the flashabou strands over top of the thread underbody to create a nice, shimmery but translucent top layer. When you reach your tying thread, use it to firmly anchor the flash, then snip the excess off close. Now, flip the fly over in the jaws of your tying vise, like so. This is how the fly will ride when fished. Relocate your tying thread forward to immediately in front of the dumbbell eyes. Cream-colored craft fur is used for the wing of the fly. Separate out a 1-inch square patch on the backing, then snip it free. Collect the clump in the fingers of your left hand and use your right to strip out and discard most of the shorter underfur. Pass the clump to your right hand and measure to form a wing 2.5 to 3 hook lengths long. Then, pass the clump back to your left hand. Use your tying scissors to snip off the excess butt ends of the craft fur. With the wing angled up, press the butt ends of the fur down on top of the hook shank and take wraps of tying thread to secure them there. Continue taking thread wraps to cover the butt ends between the back edge of the hook eye and the dumbbell eyes. The wing should want to kick up slightly. Separate the fur into equal amounts on either side of the hook. Then continue taking thread wraps to build up a smooth, tapered head on the fly. Reach for your whip finish tool and use it to do a 5 or 6 turn whip finish behind the hook eye. Seat the knot well and snip your tying thread free. Remove the fly from the vise and get all the fur and flash oriented correctly. Then place the fly back in the vise in its original orientation. Doing this makes it a little easier to trim the strands of flash off so they're about the same length as the craft fur wing. It's a good idea to apply an ample coating of either head cement or UV cure resin to the thread wraps behind the hook eye to increase the fly's durability. Once again, the fly will ride with the dumbbell eyes down and the hook point up. This gives Clouser minnows their ever so enticing, jiggy motion when fished.